Hello, good morning. Today is Memorial Day, Monday, May 31st. So happy Memorial Day. I hope you'll be doing something to remember uh, that the freedoms we enjoy every day come with a cost. And also, happy birthday to my mom. 31st of May is her birthday. Still at the camp here at our property up in Okeechobee. So it's a beautiful morning, but it's about to be summertime. So thank you for joining me this last time for Samuel in springtime. Tomorrow we'll begin 2nd Samuel in summer. And friends, summer has already begun, and we can tell that because it is hot. I'm out here in the woods, and this is definitely a winter retreat and not a summertime retreat. But we're getting some projects done. You might hear some sawing in the background. And we're here. I don't know if you can see the fire. Oh, it's kind of dying down. We usually have a fire when we come out here, even though it's hot. Today is the last chapter of the book of First Samuel, but it's not the end of our story of King David. Second Samuel has some of the greatest stories, and I hope you have enjoyed First Samuel, which is something it was important to start out with. Now, you may have seen me hesitate at the end of yesterday's video, and it was because I was afraid I was going to give too much away in terms of stuff that's going on with David, with King David and Saul. So today we will look at the small chapter, the 31st chapter of the book of First Samuel, and it ends with the death of Saul and his lineage. So the Philistines pursue Israel, and as Israel flees the Philistines, they kill Jonathan and the rest of Saul's sons. And when Saul was hit by the archers, he knew he was headed for death, asked his armor bearer to run him through, and the armor bearer just couldn't do it. And so Saul falls on his sword so that he may not be taken or treated or even touched by the uncircumcised Philistines. He wanted to remain faithful to the covenant. So he fell on his sword so that they wouldn't get him. And that is how Saul dies. It can be said that Saul meets a violent death. And it's true. They were in battle and they were overcome. His sons were killed by the Philistines, and then he, of course, being trapped, nowhere to go, takes his own life to prevent from being tortured and pursued by the Philistines. However, the Philistines take his body and they behead him and they hang him up on a fence. And all the stuff that he didn't want to happen happened. Not really, but he wasn't, alive to see it. So this is how the book ends. It ends with Saul, and moreover, the faithfulness of the people that Saul was to serve. So the people from Jabesh Gilead. Do you remember Jabesh Gilead from earlier on in the book? Jabesh Gilead people, the faithful, they come and they bury Saul and his sons properly. They do a funeral pyre and burn the bodies, and then they take the bones and put them in a holy place. And so even though it's sort of like Saul was good, but then he wasn't good, but then he was good, and then he wasn't good, and he met some sticky end. However, the people faithful to God were faithful to Saul because God had anointed Saul to be the king. Remember, David would protect him. I cannot raise my hand against God's anointed. David would say that. And so Saul is buried in a holy way by the faithful people of Jabesh Gilead. And that is the end of our journey through the book of First Samuel, but we're not finished. almost the whole month of June. It will be June 1st through 24th. We'll be doing 2 Samuel. So tomorrow we begin 2 Samuel. Your email will look a little bit different. It'll be kind of, unique. And it'll be Tuesday, June 1st. And we'll be looking at the first chapter of the book of 2 Samuel. And we'll be continuing the story of how David becomes king and how he rules. So I will hope you will join me for that. You may need to sign up for that or may need to share it with your friends. Also, I'd like to advertise my Bible study, Women of the Bible. And we talked about Abigail in this book in 1 Samuel, and we will be talking about her again. She's one of the 4 women we'll be studying with Women of the Bible. We're doing it in a group discussion over Zoom. So wherever you are in the world, you may join. You can sign up by using the link in the email. And share it with your friends too if you'd like to have them join up. That's fine. And you can also order the book. It's a very small book by the Converge Bible Study Series. It's available on Amazon. Jim Harnish, who is our own clergy member of our conference here in Florida, wrote this for the Converge Bible Study. So he's the writer of it. And it was one of my most popular Bible studies when I served my last parish in Wellington. And so I would just really encourage you to take it. It's 4 weeks. It's not a big commitment. Wednesday mornings at 10, and I'll be recording them if you would like to view them in another way. I think I'll put it on YouTube, but it should be a good discussion, and I hope that you would come alongside of us for that. So those 2 things, just these are things to do completely virtually, and no matter where you are in the world or in the country. Join us for 2 Samuel in sizzling summertime down here in South Florida, and also for Women of the Bible starting June 2nd, Wednesday mornings in the month of June on Zoom. So it's a collaborative look at Scripture, how we read Scripture together, not just my voice speaking into the camera, but how we read Scripture together. But I hope as we close out the 31 chapters of 1 Samuel that you have enjoyed walking these roads with these characters in the Bible as much as I have, and that you will be blessed by your increased familiarity with Scripture. So, Saul, he did meet a violent death, and we will see the faithfulness of David, that he does die a very old man in his bed. So there is the rub, and there's a message in that too, a message about being faithful to God and where you go first when you need to make decisions as a leader. So David modeled that for all of Israel and all of Judeo-Christian tradition as well. I'm so blessed to be alongside you with this, and I will see you tomorrow for 2 Samuel in summertime. Take care.